Now, Donald Trump Jr. wants you to know that he knows poverty. He knows the evils of communism because for summers, he had to live under it.
A communist country. I grew up. I spoke the language. I have friends from communist Czechoslovakia. I waited in those, bread lines. I can assure you, they are not as glamorous as Bernie and academia today make them out to be. That's why there's no advocates for socialism or communism who actually grew up in those places, who actually live there. They all come here. The boats only go one way, Sean.
They only go in one way, right? I mean, look. And there's a reason, because I stood in the bread lines, and they're so not glamorous. All right, so look, this is of course a discussion about Bernie Sanders. And anytime they bring up communism, bread lines, etc., and he even referenced Bernie in that, you know who they're talking about. You know what they're talking about. That Bernie Sanders is communist. Bernie Sanders is not a communist. All right, for one. I mean, look, it's a complete and total lie. It's a complete and total fabrication. Bernie Sanders is a social democrat along the lines of FDR, who helped create some of the greatest systems that the most popular programs in America. So, look, all right, you want to call that communism? That's up to you, man. But you're factually 100% wrong. Now, what's also a lie is that he had grown up under Soviet-style communism when he was talking about. In reality, he used to summer in Czechoslovakia. So now understand, right? This was something that I was unaware of until my college years, right? So people would talk about, and rich people, they would ask each other, "Oh, where do you summer?" Right? Where do you summer? Now, I had never heard that because I'm not a rich person. So I had never heard that phrase. What are you talking about? Summer? Where do I summer? I spend summers at home because I'm broke and I work. What do you do in the summer? Where do you summer? I summer at my freaking job. That's where I summer. And I winter. And I basically spend pretty much all my time working just to try and pay the goddamn bills. I still don't have health insurance. Kind of strange question, I thought. Well, rich people basically is where they go on vacation for an entire summer and not do anything, not work because they don't have to. And so this is what Donald Trump's family used to do. Don Jr. especially used to go as a kid and used to summer in Czechoslovakia. Well, now, why would you summer somewhere where there's such rampant poverty under communism, right? Where you had to wait in those bread lines. Look, according to The Guardian, quote, growing up, Don Jr. spent summer staying with his maternal grandparents outside Prague. In particular, Ivana Trump's father, Milo Zelnicek, was a role model, instilling in his grandson a love of hunting and fishing. Oh, but yet it's communism. So, they were hunting rats and dogs, and because it's communism. It's Venezuela eating rats. I mean, that's what they are hunting for, obviously. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? I've got a picture. I have a picture of Don Jr. and of course the whole family, right? Spending some of their time in these communist hellhole, right? Standing in these red lines. Take a look. Oh my God. The humanity. That looks awful. Somebody help those poor, malnourished children. Look at that. Look at that. Jesus. Czechoslovakia, folks. Communist hellhole. Don Jr. is lucky to have made it out alive. I tell you what. All right. Anyway, now look, I'm being ridiculous here, but look, Don Jr., shameless liar, just like his father. The line smear Bernie Sanders and, of course, other Democrats as communists, which is, again, not true, is just pure McCarthy hate garbage. Universal healthcare. This is what Bernie Sanders is mainly running on, right? His main thing is Medicare for all. Let's get Medicare for all, right? That's universal healthcare. That is so incredibly far from Soviet authoritarian communism, which again isn't necessarily real communism. I'm not going to go down that, basically that rabbit hole. You guys should know enough about the differences between socialism, capitalism, communism, authoritarianism. At least you would think, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people seem to not understand any of those and regularly conflate all of them. But here's the truth. We have socialist systems here in America. Yes, we have socialism. It's called Social Security and Medicare. And not only that, but you have the military, public education, among many other things, right? And so we have those systems. And no, we're not eating rats. This isn't a communist hellhole, right? So understand what we have is a mixed market system, right? And a mixed market, we should have, and here's the thing that Bernie Sanders is going for. Denmark is capitalist with strong social safety nets. It's a social democracy. That's what Bernie Sanders wants. Capitalism alongside with very strong safety nets and government regulations. That's it. So now here's the best part, right? About Don Jr. Now he talks about everybody who's from there, obviously escaping communism and warning about people like Bernie Sanders, who's going to bring communism to America. Can't have that. Now there's a website for Czech expats, right? So these are people that left Czechoslovakia, right? The boats only go one way, okay? So now here's what they said. Quote, of course, Bernie Sanders' concept of democratic socialism doesn't directly align with the kind of communism practiced in the former USSR. Many of his ideals, including universal health care, are already in place in most Western nations, including the present-day Czech Republic. Whoops. Now, here's the thing. If Bernie Sanders were in Europe right now, he would be a centrist, center-left politician. He would be mainstream. Not radical, not fringe, not crazy. But here in America, the people who should be considered fringe, crazy, are mainstreamed. And so that's the problem, okay? And so you've got people out there that are so incredibly shameless. All they want to do is protect their hordes of obscene wealth from those who would rather see some of that wealth get taxed and redistributed so that people don't die from having to ration their medication. That's it. Now, look, some new numbers had come out. A new study, 68,000 people die from lack of access to their medications, right? Due to lack of access to healthcare, okay? They can't afford it, and so they die. That is here in America. That is not in the Czech Republic. If you are in favor of continuing that system where we spend more than any other nation in the developed world and yet get less, so much less, with so many people that die, if you want to continue that system in order to protect your wealth, then you're a goddamn monster. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.